welcome back, everybody. It's Screen Preach, episode 8. We're gonna talk about movies today, and really, ew, you smell. In the name of the God, Father, the Son of Odin, and the Holy Jedi, we're gonna talk about something new today. Maybe my computer, does everything it's supposed to do. Looks pretty quick today. I like that. Hi, what can I do for you? For those of you who don't ever watch it and only listen, my dog is always right next to me during the episodes, and sometimes she craves attention. Other times she's real good and she just sits there. All right? Okay, new week, everybody. New week. What's going on? How are we doing? How's everybody? How's day 20 of quarantine or whatever we're in? 22 and a half days of quarantine. What do we get? Oh my God, this dog sheds so much. Yeah. Oh, Jesus Christ, donut. Really? That's great. Right when I grab my coffee, I love it. It's the best time to do that. Shake all the hair all over the place. I love it. Thank you. What was I saying? You know. Yeah, I was running out of new movies to talk about, but then I found some more. So the next couple weeks, I'm going to talk about some newer ones. Because I forgot about Pixar's latest. You got to talk about Pixar's latest. So today I'm going to talk about Onward. And next week, I'm going to talk about Underwater because it looked interesting, and then I saw it, and then we'll get to what I thought about it. What else? What's new? I shaved my face. Not because I like the way it looks, just because it'll be less to do this week. Maintain my face. Maintain my facial hair. Tomorrow's 420 in 2020. And we're all stuck inside. I mean, but isn't that what you do anyway on 420? Don't you stay? I mean, I guess not. You can go on like a hike or I don't know. The point of 420 is to blaze up no matter what you're doing. So that's what I'm gonna do. Doesn't I'm still gonna work tomorrow and do work tomorrow, but I'm gonna be high while I do it. Yeah, because there's not really anything else going on and shit. Normally I don't smoke well, first of all, I don't smoke anymore. I only eat it because, one, I like the way that feels better. Two, it's much easier to manage your amount because it's broken down into numbers more efficiently. So I don't have to get stupid. And then there's the fact that I just don't want to put shit in my lungs anymore, Probably not good to do that. But yeah, it occurred to me today that I probably should do like a stoner movie today. Talk about a stoner movie. But I didn't realize it was 420 tomorrow, but yeah. I guess we're all inside and just doing whatever, but like, my top 3 stoner movies are probably Dazed and Confused, Dude, Where's My Car, Pineapple Express, or you can watch The Gentleman. is the latest That one's about weed, I guess, a little bit, because that's what he does for a living, Matthew McConaughey's character, but it's not really a stoner movie. Those three, Pineapple Express is the ultimate stoner movie. So, I mean, even if you haven't, well, you should have seen it by now, but even if you haven't seen it, you probably heard of it, and you know it's like number one. Yeah, or if you just like want to laugh a little bit, That 70s Show is always a good one that you can join their stoner circle for a little bit. That one always makes me laugh. Yeah. Yeah, that's it. For what's new, really. I don't know what the fuck's going on anymore. I can't imagine I'll have a job at the restaurant that I started at. I worked at a restaurant for a week and then this all went down and I had to stop. I can't imagine. I mean, maybe, but I feel like if anything, people that work in restaurants gotta let people go, and I was there for a week. They don't need me, so what am I gonna do? I guess Uber or something. I don't know. Um, wow, you're all about attention today, huh, Donna? Huh? You want all the lovin's? Yeah. Um. Wow, that was a lot of foam in there, huh? I have officially decided that I will be doing a Star Wars special for episode 10. So in a couple of weeks, I'm going to talk about Star Wars, the Skywalker saga. That's going to be the topic. I'm going to do a couple of segments. I'm going to try to put Star Wars posters up behind me. I only have one here at the moment. I have a couple more at home I'm trying to get sent. Um, yeah, that should be fun. I gotta. What I did, I ended up rewatching all 9 films this week. And even though it's obviously flawed in parts, it's still fun and enjoyable. So yeah, definitely gonna do that. But today we're gonna talk about Onward. But before we get into that, obviously, I'd like to talk about the news of the week. And hopefully the fucking recording doesn't stop. I swear, every time I move the mouse, it like skips, and then there's a chance that it'll fucking go. There's a chance every time. What do we got first? Don't stop recording, please. So I found out just a couple days ago. So they're doing Green Hornet and Kato again. So they did Green Hornet. They did a Green Hornet movie maybe a decade ago now. Yeah, wow. With Seth Rogen and I forget who played Kato. But yeah, it wasn't good or anything. But come on, dog. You know, you scratch my arms. It doesn't feel good. I can't concentrate and give you a belly rub at the same time. I can't multitask that. Not really. I don't know what the deal is with that. I can't like do a simple thing like this and think about other shit. I end up stopping. I don't know. Sorry. Okay. Sorry. Yeah, they're redoing Green Hornet and Kato. So I don't know. Universal and Amasia Entertainment are doing Green Hornet and Kato once again. Also, Donut, I have to use this hand to hold my coffee so I can use my computer. So you kind of just have to deal with it a little bit. Any details on this? Not really. You guys all know the Green Hornet. This was interesting. So The Irishman was awesome, right? Scorsese's next film is already moving forward. It's in production, and I can't wait. I've been following it for a little bit. Should come out at the end of next year. It's called Killers of the Flower Moon. It's based on a novel. And for the first time in history, I love when it gets like a little bit like historical in terms of his career and like with the last one, he had never worked with Al Pacino before, and that was his first time working with Al Pacino. It was also the first time Pesci and Pacino worked together. So I love that kind of shit. That's why that fucking movie was the ultimate gangster movie. Look at the team of people. But with Killers of the Flower Moon, it's kind of similar here. So Scorsese is known for using two actors more than anyone else. Robert De Niro, who's worked on with for 9 films, and Leonardo DiCaprio, who's worked on with for 5 films, I think. Now for the first time he's working with both of them in the same movie. Leonardo DiCaprio and Robert De Niro are to star in Killers of the Flower Moon, and they're auctioning a walk-on role for charity. So there's an opportunity for a fan to have a role in the next Scorsese movie. And for charity. I don't know how that works. Does your pay go to the chair? I don't know. Let's see if there's any details on how to do this. Well, based on the true story, Killers of the Flower Moon revolves around one of the FBI's first cases, the murders of Osage. I don't know how to say that. Osage? Native Americans? Usage? I wish I knew how to say that. In Oklahoma, production was set to begin in March, but the coronavirus threw everything into flux. We know, yeah. And I recently heard that the film will potentially move forward at Netflix. So Netflix worked out for Scorsese with The Irishman. And now the budget on this movie is going up, apparently, and he's looking to potentially go to Netflix again with this movie. Didn't I talk about that last week? I think I did. And I mentioned how I don't particularly like it sometimes because I can't buy Netflix movies. Yeah, I did talk about that last week. Yeah. I don't see the details here, but you can get a walk-on role in this. All In Challenge, it's called. America's Food Fund to help make sure every family in need gets access to food at this critical time. Our most vulnerable communities need our support now more than ever. That's why we're asking you to help us with the All In Challenge. If you've ever wondered what it's like to be able to work with the great Martin Scorsese, Robert De Niro, and myself, this is DiCaprio talking. This is your chance. Robert and I are going to be starring in a new movie called Killers of the Flower Moon, directed by Scorsese. We want to offer you a walk-on role, the opportunity to spend the day on the set with the 3 of us, and attend the premiere. To take part, please go to allinchallenge.com and donate whatever you can. Oh, you have to donate, and that's how and then they pick somebody. Allinchallenge.com if you want to give it a shot. I don't know if I'll fucking do that, but maybe I will. Moving on, what else we got for news? A couple of little things. So on my on Screen Preach's Instagram, I mentioned a couple of new trailers. So the Capone movie, which was originally titled Fonzo, which I had been following for about a year now, and I was wondering what the fuck's going on with it because there was no news on it for months, no updates. And then finally, just out of nowhere, a trailer drops. Tom Hardy is playing Al Capone, and it's an interesting take on Al Capone. It's not showing him in his prime years in the 20s, Prohibition. It's actually showing him after all that, he's like in his 40s, and he lives in Florida, and he's suffering from dementia. So it's a new kind of take on Al Capone, and it's interesting. And Tom Hardy is playing him. So that's cool. Uh, director, the writer director of it is Josh Trank. Not really like crazy about his work. He's not like had the best quality out there, but hey, whatever. I'm not gonna judge something before I see it, ever, because that's not fair, and anyone who does that's a piece of shit, whatever. Um, um, yeah, but I was looking forward to this, and now it's finally. And so the news here is that it potentially could just drop right on streaming services or VOD. It could be right on Apple to rent. It might have no theatrical run, just right on. It's supposed to come out It was supposed to come out May 12th, but there's been no details on where it's coming. It's obviously not coming out in theaters, so they're either going to push the theatrical release back, or May 12th is the date, and they're dropping it right on, right on there. Yeah, so that looked cool, and I put that up. I also put up the first teaser trailer for the new Perry Mason. So that Perry Mason is an old show, an old classic show series back in the day, and they're redoing it on HBO. Robert Downey Jr. is the executive producer of it. I remember hearing about this a couple of years ago when they started writing the scripts for it and shit. But now it's first teaser was dropped. I put that on Screen Preach's Instagram as well. Or on the story, so it's not there now, but you can go check these out just by searching them. Those are latest trailers. And then Stellan Skarsgård, who played Dr. Eric Selvig in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, is the latest to join the Rogue One spin-off series for Star Wars. The Cassian Andor series that's coming to Disney Plus. Stellan Skarsgård has joined the cast. That's pretty cool. I like the cross-pollination of Marvel and Star Wars. We should keep that up. Have Daisy Ridley star as like a superhero in Marvel or something. What else? Oh yeah, a little quick something here. So Dane DeHaan, however it's said, the kid who played Harry Osborn in the Amazing Spider-Man movies with Andrew Garfield, he confirmed that a Sinister Six movie was in development before the Sony Marvel deal that brought Spider-Man to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. We all kind of knew that. They hinted it in the movie. In the last Amazing Spider-Man, there was a little post-credit scene where it showed all the different tech of the villains. And so we kind of knew Sinister Six. So Sinister Six is a team of Spider-Man villains. It's Doc Ock, Sandman, Rhino, Vulture. It's and they all team up and face Spider-Man. That probably would have been a cool third Amazing Spider-Man for sure. Or I don't know, maybe it was a solo, maybe it was his own, it might have been its own thing called Sinister Six. But you gotta have Spider-Man in that movie. Whatever. We all kind of knew that was something that was happening because they hinted at it, but now it's been confirmed that it actually was in development. And you know what? It's probably, if Sony and Marvel are as determined as they are now, as we've been hearing lately, that they're going to try to keep this deal going for as long as they can, Spider-Man in the MCU, I heard recently that he's definitely back in now. He's being prepped to be a key member of the new Avengers whenever that happens. So Sinister Six is still definitely something we could see, either in the MCU or whatever the fuck Sony's doing. The only way the Sony-verse works is if Marvel blows the doors open, blows the roof off this thing with a multiverse. If Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness is supposed to blow the roof off of everything with the multiverse just being a key thread in the next saga of the MCU. If you can make that how we accept certain things, like accept Sony's Spider-Verse as like an alternate reality in the MCU, then that works. You can make that work. If you try to keep it separate, it's not going to work. It's just going to be confusing. Whatever they do, I'm sure will be cool. I've mentioned that this break, this delay is probably good for Marvel and for Star Wars. Give them more time to think things through and write. This should be a blessing in disguise for movies. Not all movies, but creatively for creators. Yeah. Well, what else was? Oh yeah, because I mentioned Doctor Strange, so I wanted to talk about how it seems like this is crazy how this all kind of connects a little bit here today. So Sam Raimi, who directed the first Spider-Man trilogy, the first three that we all grew up on, my generation, with Tobey Maguire, the director of those Spider-Man movies has somehow, I guess, been confirmed to be the new director of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. So Scott Derrickson, who did the first one, had to step down recently, and now it looks like Spider-Man director Sam Raimi is doing the sequel. So far it looks like he kind of casually confirmed it. Sam Raimi. And there was a little Easter egg in his Spider-Man trilogy to Doctor Strange, because apparently Doctor Strange has always been his favorite Marvel character, and now it looks like he might be doing Doctor Strange for Marvel. I also heard a little more outlandish rumor that Marvel's going to offer him Spider-Man 4. So John Watts, who does the current Spider-Man, I guess wouldn't do the fourth one, and Sam Raimi would? What's that? I don't know. Don't put stock into some of these rumors. They gotta all be confirmed, and I won't mention shit for the most part unless it's confirmed. But it looks like he definitely is confirmed at this point, I guess. It looked like he confirmed it, but until Kevin Feige says it, I don't really believe anything. Kevin Feige, the powerhouse of Marvel. Yeah, because he was supposed to do a fourth Spider-Man with Tobey Maguire back. Like he was in development before they pulled the plug on it. Like it was underway. I think Carnage was supposed to be the villain, and it seemed interesting at the time. Then they pulled the plug to do. I don't know. I don't exactly know what happened there, but because they didn't do Amazing Spider-Man, the Andrew Garfield, until they took some time, and then they did those, right? I don't remember. So that's cool. I also wanted to mention that there's a new sitcom coming out on Netflix called Space Force, and it's by the writers of The Office. So it's like a new show by the creators of The Office, and Steve Carell is in it, and Lisa Kudrow from Friends is in it, and there's images out, by the way, for it, and that's coming out soon. I think in May, maybe I'm wrong. I don't want to I don't want to look it up right now because I don't want to take the chance with this fucking thing. That's really it for news too. Oh, there was one. Okay. There were a couple of big things though. So there's an old classic sci-fi movie called Dune, which is based on a book series, the Dune book series. And it's being redone with Denis Villeneuve as the director. If you don't know who he is, he's done a lot of really fantastic sci-fi films, especially recently. I think he did Arrival. He did Blade Runner 2049. What else did he do, man? At the moment, am I confusing him with somebody? Yeah, no, it's not Neil Blomkamp. Neil Blomkamp did District 9 and those movies. No, yeah. So Dennis Villeneuve, he's doing the new Dune movie, and there's set images for it. It looks cool. There's an awesome cast. It's got Idris Elba's in it. Timothée Charlemagne is in it. If I'm saying names wrong, I'm sorry. I don't fucking care. Um, who else is in it? There was some cool people in this. Josh Brolin's in it. It looks badass, and he's made some great. I mean, he took Blade Runner and did a new Blade Runner that was awesome. I think he can do a new Dune that's awesome. And the classic Dune wasn't even that good. The classic movie Dune from I think 1984 wasn't even that good. This should be fucking cool, and I'll put the images up, and that looks interesting. Um, and then there was this. This is cool as hell. This is the big thing of the week that I saw. J.J. Abrams and his production company Bad Robot signed uh, signed a 3 series deal with HBO Max. So HBO Max comes out next month. It's probably a subscription worth having because it's more than just HBO. It's like everything Time Warner. Warner Bros. Owns HBO, so anything Time Warner is going to be on this streaming service. It's their streaming service, like what Disney Plus came out recently. That was the most late, or no, Apple TV Plus, Disney Plus. Those are the latest ones to come out. This is HBO's. It's called HBO Max. It's going to have a bunch of stuff. It'll have even some classic sitcoms. It's supposed to have Friends. It's supposed to have Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and they're doing a Friends reunion on there. They're doing a bunch of DC projects. So like they're doing Stargirl and Green Lantern. Should be interesting. It's hit or miss too. There could be some shitty ones, but J.J. Abrams signed a 3 series deal, and the 3 series that they're doing look interesting. So they're doing a Stephen King's The Shining TV series called what's the name of the hotel in the movie? That's the name of the show. Overlook? Yeah, the Overlook Hotel. The name of the series is Overlook. That's a cool spin-off. I like that idea. All of these Abrams production company Bad Robot is producing, but only one of them, Abrams, is like having written and direction creative work in, and I think that's the. Well, I'll keep going here. The second one is it's called Duster. This one looks the coolest. I mean, that's debatable, but this one looks really interesting to me. It's called Duster. Will be set in the 1970s American Southwest and centered on a crime syndicate getaway driver. That just sounds cool. This is the one Abrams will write, and he's writing it with Latoya Morgan, who's a writer from The Walking Dead and Shameless. That's cool. So they're gonna work on that show together, and it's called Duster. And the third one, this one's very interesting. Maybe this is the best one. Justice League Dark. So they're doing a team-up series of Justice League, of DC Dark Universe characters. And that might include Vertigo. So like I mentioned last week, people like Sandman, people like or the Lovecraft comics, or John Constantine is another one. Like those are the dark universe of DC. And there's a series being made by J.J. Abrams' production company Bad Robot called Justice League Dark on HBO Max. Fucking awesome. Or at least intriguing. Something to look forward to. And yeah, that was the coolest thing I heard this week. Yeah, that's it for news. So we can move on. And I'm good with moving on. And you're good with moving on. And we're good with moving. Okay. And I'm going to talk about the latest Pixar film, Onward, today. I hope there's a little magic left in you. That was one of the lines in the movie that kind of sums up the whole movie. for me. I think it's important to point out from the get-go what magic is supposed to represent in this movie. So, like all Pixar movies, this film is heartfelt and emotionally resonant. So, if magic is a metaphor, it's supposed to represent our spirit, I think. Either that or courage. Couldn't really put my finger on it. And I don't mean the spirit, like, oh my God, the spirit, like, name of the Father, Son, Holy Spirit, like ghost. I mean, like, having spirit, you know, having the courage to live your life and discover who you are. Really, really, it's one of those movies, man. Pixar can get you. So spoilers ahead for anyone who hasn't seen it yet, but it is on Apple, and it's on Disney Plus. It's on Disney Plus already, right now. And this was in theaters like a couple months ago. What's crazy is they dropped that right on Disney Plus. That's the earliest release for anything so far. Like, just to drop that on Disney Plus? Where's Star Wars Episode 9 on Disney Plus? Drop that fucking movie so people don't... I collect, so I buy. I have it already. I've had it, and I watched all 9 this week. But people don't have the movie like I do. Most people don't do that. So Disney Plus, drop Star Wars 9 for people. Come on. You can put Onward on, but not that. Fucking, let's go. Spoilers ahead. Like I said, so all Pixar films have plenty of human meaning and messages. This one is no different. Like always, I like to start out with the common themes I picked up on. So at its heart, this is a coming-of-age story. It's about Ian, played by Tom Holland. I love the Marvel team up here. You got Tom Holland and Chris Pratt, Spider-Man and Star-Lord. Their chemistry, awesome. So it's about Ian becoming a man. And so naturally they pull on this with elements like brotherhood, fatherhood, emotional guidance, whatever. I think one of the main themes is overcoming fear. But all the little kind of messages you would want a kid watching this to pick up on. Accepting who you are, finding yourself, family values. But I think most importantly, not taking for granted what's right in front of you is like one of the biggest messages. I'm going to hold for the siren. Because apparently deaf people drive, I'm such a dick with that joke. Let's see. What was I just saying? Yeah, so I think, not taking for granted what's right in front of you was like the biggest message. So these things resonate for kids and even adults watching this movie who can relate their experience to this in any way. So Ian, for example, is the kind of person who makes lists, and that's it. And I related to that because I do that a little bit. He makes plans, but the point of his journey is to realize that life doesn't care about your plans. At one point, he says, "I'm not ready," to which his brother Barley, played by Chris Pratt, says, "You'll never be ready." And that's when they're doing the driving, when they have to merge. And it's true. You have to have the courage, the spirit to just go for it. You'll never be ready. You just have to go for it. Plans are his way of easing into things and keeping fear at bay, but he has to learn to take risks and embrace fear in order to feel content with himself and who he is. Magic is spirit. Magic is courage. And also, magic represents those people who are always in your hearts forever. So his dad is the big thing here. They're on a journey to bring his dad back for a whole day. His dad died before he was born, and when his brother Barley was really young, and they're trying to use magic to bring him back for a day. And just his legs are what comes back, and they have to go and find this ruby or whatever, Phoenix gem, or it's called, to bring the rest of him back. his dad is in his heart, and even when he's just legs, he's there with him, which I thought was interesting. They don't touch on it really, but they do spend the day with their dad, if you think about it. Even though he's just legs, they get a sense of him through some of the things he does. Like the dancing sequence was really impactful. But I think most importantly, they play on the idea that Barley is the greatest extension of their father, of which comes in full focus at the end, which I'll get to. Symbolizing it, and they symbolize it best too, that Barley's an extension of the father in the dance sequence, when visually we see Barley pretend to take up Dad's upper body when they're dancing. I think it was a foreshadow, most prominent foreshadow for Ian's ultimate realization in the climax, which I'll talk about. Structurally, I suppose this film too has that down and out moment. I've mentioned it. It could also just be the reversal, but I think it's more likely the Act 2 climax. So it's when Ian fails at the end of the chase sequence. He's unable to conjure the toughest spell to take down the rock boulders and block the path. It's the down and out because it includes a sacrifice as well, Barley letting his precious van go in order for the quest to continue. So he sacrifices his his van, which he names Guinevere, so that they can keep going on their quest. It's a down and out moment. It's that Ian can't do it. He fails in that moment. It's a down and out. Then I thought that the recognition moment. So then there wasn't a. So in Act 3 climax, that's right before the climax, there is a recognition moment. So, Ian realizes the truth about his brother's significance in his life, thus bringing them into the more action-packed climax we get, where Ian finally overcomes his flaws and fears to destroy the curse, and in that moment he actually is able to conjure every spell, and he looks like a master wizard, and he defeats the curse. But yeah, that recognition is important because it's when he realizes his brother's like a father to him. He's been like a father to him his whole life. All these themes come into play as the whole quest brings them full circle too. So right back where they started is where they end up. They seem bummed out and confused and just shit. We went all this way just to come get right back into town where we started. But that further heightens the idea of looking within, opening your eyes to what's right in front of you, not taking for granted what's right in front of you. It also presents the idea of the destination is the journey. So, of course, they come full circle. What they needed to find was inside, was right at home. The experience of the journey is the true treasure that they need to obtain. If magic is a metaphor for spirit or courage, then that early line about how magic was used to help all has more weight. I thought that was interesting. So, like, only those with faith in themselves, with true spirit, with true courage, can go on to help people and can go on to achieve things. So, again, talking about how magic represents certain human elements. And then, in terms of direction, it's not really anything crazy. It's animated, so this being an animated film doesn't play around with or experiment with direction really. But if anything, it's the animators that deserve the real credit here, as always. But I did mention the visual foreshadow with Barley. I mean, in these cases, the credit really goes out to the artists and the animators, like I said, who put these little stories together. It's truly incredible. It's a truly incredible talent to do what these animated filmmakers do. I always found it so incredible. I think what's most impressive is the way these animated films never seem to suffer narratively. Pixar has a way with these with telling stories. Their stories are always meaningful, always impactful. Um, and yeah, in terms of performances, I mentioned. Well, in general, Pixar always has a way of casting where it's just it's funnier. The roles are funnier. The movie's more, emotionally resonant. Tom Holland and Chris Pratt. It's just way too fun a combination in this movie. They're both part of that Marvel family anyway, so they're like brothers. It was just great chemistry that it made it work way better. And I didn't realize, and I still can't believe it, but the mother Laurel in this movie is played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. And for all you movie illiterates, that's Elaine from Seinfeld. She's also from Veep. She's also from, you know, I can't believe I didn't realize that was her either. She was great too. She embraces her inner warrior plenty in this movie. For Julia too, this is her second Pixar film, which is a little trivia. She played Princess Ada in A Bug's Life, the second ever Pixar movie. Julia Louis-Dreyfus was in that. She voiced Princess Ada in A Bug's Life. Way back now. And the Manticore I knew was played by Octavia Spencer. She made me laugh a lot. Even her character needed to look within and find herself again. All around, I loved the performances, the voice work, everything. Voice work has an impact. If it didn't have an impact, Woody and Buzz from Toy Story wouldn't continue to resonate with us to this day as like culturally, famous movie characters. So I think this is another one to go down in the books as another great duo. I thought Tom Holland and Chris Pratt were awesome. I also try to look for references to other Pixar films. Here's a little more trivia. I don't know if you know this, but almost every Pixar film has some kind of little nod to other Pixar films. For instance, early on when Pixar still did bloopers for fun, there was a moment when the Bugs Life characters are sitting on a leaf talking, and they get chopped down by something moving through the brush, and it ends up being Buzz and the gang in Toy Story 2. Like they would find like or in Monsters Inc. how some of the toys on the floor of the kids' rooms would be Toy Story toys, stuff like that. And I didn't see any in this movie, but maybe down the line, I don't know. Maybe some people will pick up on them. You kind of have to look for it. I didn't really look for it, but that's always fun when you can spot those. I guess. This is great. This is actually going smooth. The thing is, I never know if my phone just shut off, It could be just not recording right now. That would suck a lot. It always does. So let's keep going and try to get through it, Might be a shorter episode today. I'm cool. I want to, chill out and, chill out. My take on this, overall, what I would say the story is really about is about accepting who you are, embracing who you are. For instance, Barley is that one character in the story who embodies everything the others need to realize. Think about it. So if it's about overcoming fear or accepting yourself, Barley does these things on a daily basis. He's content with who he is, and he has no fear, right? He just does what he does, man. He's not afraid to be himself, pursue what he wants, and fight for what he wants. He makes others finally see themselves as well. Aside from Ian, Laurel, the mother, needs to embrace her inner warrior, and the Manticore needs to remember that she can fly. I was born to fly is one of the lines in the movie, and I think one of the fairies says that. But it's a line that's meant for everyone, I was born to fly. Believing in yourself, spreading your wings is the best thing you can do for yourself. Barley has his flaws, too. I think maybe he did need to realize that he's not always right. and that's okay. And he needed to realize that it's okay to be scared. It's okay to fail. I think he kind of runs away from these things a little bit. Um, he also needs to be needed. He seems very needy at times, but everyone else needs to realize they need people like Barley in their life. Ian especially needs his brother and has to recognize this. His support, his strength, his courage are all reasons why he's definitely not a screw up, Barley. The way I saw it was everyone takes Barley for granted or mocks his personality, and he could take it from everyone else, but when he finds that his brother potentially feels that way about him, that's when he thinks that Ian thinks he's a screw up. He lets Ian know how he feels about that, and that's one of the turning points for them in the movie. People really don't give him a chance, Barley, when they really should. They all needed to find that magic in them, find a part of themselves, embrace the extraordinary, and the extraordinary possibilities that come with embracing your inner warrior. I also thought it was important that Barley is the only one, who gets to see the father at the end when he returns. Because, alright, so Barley is supposed to represent the magic, right? The spirit. And it's supposed to have an impact on all the characters and on the audience. Even we don't get to see the conversation between Barley and the father. We stay in Ian's perspective. You know, he's our main character during that moment. This is important because we're not meant to see the father, because the father archetype is just an extension of Barley. It's only important that Barley meets the father for his arc. So in the story, he mentions how that was one moment in his life when he let fear defeat him, when he didn't go in and see his father on his deathbed. So for his character arc, it made the most sense for him to confront that moment again. Now, it wasn't for Ian, you know? For Ian, it's about becoming a man, which is also why I liked how they utilized each obstacle, which was cool, I think, if you watch closely. So each obstacle required Ian to use a spell, face fear head on, and get them back on track in their quest. Each spell sort of embodied a quality of growing, which was really cool. So he had to, for instance, trust during the bridge scene. He had to focus during the gas scene. He had to believe during the levitation scene. And he had to embody all of these things at once during the Act 2 close, where he fails, the down and out moment. And then again in the climax when he succeeds. Structurally well-rounded. Fucking beautifully structured film. And of course, an all-around feel-good and heartfelt movie, as these Pixar films go. The theme of family is like the glue that holds everything together in this movie too. They had to work together in the climax as well in order to succeed. They all had a part to play in that climax at some point. But most importantly, for our main character, for Ian, he had to discover that it's not about being like Dad. It's about being himself. That was the ultimate realization. He finally realizes Barley has been the person guiding him to this realization and in general in life. I like that line where Barley says, I can teach you all I know about magic, young mage. But really what he's saying is, I can teach you all I know about life. Barley was that father figure, and it's a really touching moment of recognition. As the story goes on, each obstacle makes Ian slowly meet the person he was supposed to meet. Not his dad, but himself. Journey of self-discovery. Pulls on the heartstrings. I love I have a brother, so the brother thing was it's just a great movie. But it wasn't a great movie, so here's my rating, okay? It's hard to really shit on Pixar films. Sometimes they don't work as well as others. Sequels suffer, I think, most. Like, if they do sequels, I think those ones suffer most. Original ideas, like first-time movies for Pixar, are always good enough. There's not enough wrong with their films to ever call them bad. I think Cars 2 and 3 are probably the worst Pixar movies. They're just okay, though. They're not even bad. But case in point, with this one, I can't call it anything less than good. But in comparison with other Pixar films, it's not in the same category as their greatest hits. So, I gave it an 8.5. It was good. And you know what? It was on the verge of being great. I'll say that. But go watch it. You'll enjoy it. I don't care how old you are either. You'll probably enjoy it. Yeah. 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 I'm a process server. Shine shoes. You're a chauffeur? Like a butler? I gotta watch Pineapple Express tomorrow. Happy 420 and all that good stuff. Enjoy the week ahead. Stay safe. We should be getting out of this soon. I think I'm done. I'm gonna call it. As always. Oh, wait a minute. Let's do the quote of the week. And so, like I said, I'm going to be doing it differently from now on. It's going to be whatever the genre is of the week. So today's genre is kids and family, or, kids and family. But I'll give you a little hint. This is another Pixar movie. So here's the quote. You two have managed to accomplish something together no one ever has. You surprised me. Name that movie. Your other hint, it's a sequel. It's not an original. That should narrow it down a lot, okay? Name that movie. As usual, I'm your host, Ben Morganti. I appreciate anyone who listens and watches. It's awesome. I just do it because I want to talk about movies, and it's fun and relaxing. It's most relaxing when I have weeks like this and the technology's not trying to fuck me. You know what I mean? So it's therapeutic. I'm doing it for me, but if you also watch and listen, that's great. Feel free to comment too, and reach out to me if you want to argue about something. I'm all for it. Follow the show at Screen Preach. Follow me at the Ben Morganti on Instagram and Twitter. Go check out my website, benmorgantistory.com, which I forgot to mention last week, I realized. But, I mention it every fucking week, and if anyone's actually watching the whole episode, they'll know. And I did mention it last week. I mentioned it in the beginning of the episode. So, for those of you who click out early. But I don't blame you if you're clicking out early, because if you haven't seen the movie, I warn you not to stick around because of spoilers. Whatever. If you really want to support if you really want to support the sewing job that I do, if you really want to support the show, become a patron at Patreon. You can find episodes of this show on Apple Podcasts and YouTube. And that is it. Should I mention what else is what's new this week to watch? Anything? Is there anything? I'm gonna watch the Clone Wars series. I always hear good things about it, and I never saw. So I'm gonna watch that. For all you Star Wars fans out there, there's nothing new really. Something coming. Rick and Morty comes back soon. I'll keep you posted on that. Other than that, though, have a cinematic week.